Another crisis amid a growing backlog in the global supply chain. Ports, record numbers of container ships sitting idle.
As everything was leaving so much faster than it was coming in.
Since the beginning of COVID-19, we've seen a shortage in toilet paper to most currently cat food.
So this makes us wonder what the government is doing to help overcome this shortage.
But first, to put this in perspective, one shipping hub in the United States is operating under 65% of the required staffing. Along with this, many understaffed hubs in the United States have had to send 25% of their products to other shipping hubs in the U.S. This creates a backup that we see at ports, which is why we see major delays in product distribution across the country. But some good news has come out of this.
Traditionally, our ports have only been open during the week, Monday through Friday, and they're generally closed down at nights and on weekends. By staying open 7 days a week, through the night and on the weekends, the Port of Los Angeles will open over 60 extra hours a week will be open. In total, that will almost double the number of hours that the port is open for business from earlier this year.
The International Chamber of Shipping estimates only 35,000 to 40,000 seafarers, or just 2.5% of the global pool, are vaccinated. With the delays and backups building near the ports, the need for medical supplies has increased rapidly. We also heard about what our local grocery store, Miller & Sons, had to do during this shortage.
I think everyone knows that first paper products were the things that were hit the most. Right now, you'll see it in categories here and there. Spices were affected for a while. Gatorade was affected for a while. And those had things to do with companies are having a hard time getting the products they needed to package the products. So that became an issue. Right now, what we're struggling with in particular is canned cat food. But, after a couple months, everything turns around and everything shows back up.
How was your store affected by the inflation spike on goods?
So it has been difficult maintaining enough help. I think everybody has their logic on why that is. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I think there's multiple factors. We have been lucky, I think. I'm not sure why, maybe because we've been around forever. But we have definitely taken a look at increasing our wages, which I think is something everyone has had to do. You just have to, or you can't get help.
As you note, manufacturing took quite a direct hit during the pandemic. We ended up losing about 1.3 million jobs.
It's predicted by 2025, 1.8 billion people will be living in places with water scarcity. Not to mention, at the end of 2010, they measured only enough oil for 46.2 years.
Overusing and wasting is a common problem we see day to day around the world. If companies use extra resources they do not need, then these are sadly wasted. Since we know that resources are limited and human wants are unlimited, let's not waste any of these few resources that we do have now. By not using more resources than necessary, we give up resources that can be used somewhere else and produced more.
Is there any solutions to help prevent a shortage in the future?
That's a good question. You have to get creative. You try to find alternative resources to what you're currently using. Maybe it's a different style of plastic or different style of machinery or equipment you're using. Maybe there's different ways of doing things that you've never done before. Maybe you can make your own equipment, things like that. But yeah, you have to get creative and try to use what's available.
Increases. Many shortages in the grocery aisles, from meat to cereal and syrup, have been resolved as supply chain issues cleared and production ramped up, while some staples like cream cheese have been harder to come by.
The world's wealthiest countries have been gripped by resource shortages, including shortages of personal protective equipment and ventilators during the coronavirus disease 2019 pandemic. We've seen the White House open up ports to operate 24/7, which has helped increase the speed of shipping compared to the beginning of this shortage. We still have a long way to go, but we have already come
Currently,
so
we're still facing the battle of this outbreak daily, and although we've come a long way together, as one whole, we'll need to keep pushing our way to the finish line.